Hi, I'm Amanda.
And I'm Allison.
Welcome to another episode of Simply Sapphic. Hey, and welcome to another episode of Simply Sapphic.
Yay!
Yay! We are, I think, episode 6 now.
Yeah, this is our sixth one.
This is so exciting.
I know.
So with the 6th episode, this is actually us kicking off our dating series.
Yeah.
Which is pretty exciting. So today we're going to talk about how to flirt with girls.
The highly anticipated question. Probably one of the most requested topics that we've gotten so
honestly. Far. And by girls, we mean, okay, we said how to flirt with girls because that's what you put into Google when you're sapphic.
Yeah.
But when we say girls, we mean like trans women, trans men, non-binary people,
yeah.
cisgendered women, like anybody who falls under the sapphic umbrella, that's who you're flirting with. Depending on your preferences, you can literally flirt with anybody you want. But how to flirt with girls
is what we're talking about today.
Yes. Second order of business is we changed where we're recording.
Ta-da.
So if you notice, our
little background.
Our little background isn't blue. That's actually in the room literally across the hall from us. We had a new roommate move in and we had them move into that room, and we moved into this room and set up the whole new recording studio in here instead. So if you didn't know, we're recording this in our house, in our literal guest bedroom. So
yeah, so check out our little art, all this good stuff.
All of our art. We have some queer books behind us. We might call them out in a future episode, but everything is very, we had a lot of fun setting this up.
Yeah, we had a blast.
And resetting it up.
Absolutely, because we painted the whole other wall.
We did. We painted the whole other wall. And then to get this freaking couch in.
Getting the couch in was the hardest thing.
We had to, take off the feet of the couch.
Yes.
And then take off the door.
Yep, both doors. It was, because the shape of the doorways is crazy.
It's insane.
But, yeah,
it's insane.
We did it. It's here. We're not sitting on the floor. We're on a couch.
And yeah, we're in this new recording studio. So pretty excited.
Yeah.
It's just, I love it in here. It's a great room. So I'm excited to be changing where we're recording to be in here.
Same. Super. And on the third order of business, the cedar fever got me.
Yep.
If you're listening and you're not from Texas, awesome. Because cedar fever here is wicked. So
stay away.
Yes. Yeah. Watch out between December and February. So yeah, I might sound a little stuffy. You're going to be seeing me drink a lot of tea if you're watching on YouTube.
Yes.
And yeah, just a little heads up. I'm
okay.
under the weather.
So for the people who aren't in Texas, what is cedar fever?
Oh goodness. So apparently cedar fever is I guess you would call it an allergic reaction to the cedar pollen. And it's gnarly. It almost feels like you have the flu. Right now I can't breathe out of my nose. My ears are super plugged. I keep telling Amanda, I always have to be what? What are you saying? What? Because I hear myself louder than I can hear anything else around me.
It's like I live with my grandma.
Yeah, all the time. I'm speak up louder, darling. All the time. And yeah, it comes with sometimes your body hurts and it feels like you have the flu, but it's literally allergies. And when you Google what do I do about it, they're nothing.
You can get a shot,
an allergy shot.
But yeah, at one point I was considering, would I rather live in Washington state where I'm allergic to all the cottonwood trees and I go 3 months not being able to breathe and sneezing and that tickle in the back of your throat, or would I want a week of cedar fever, which is just a really gnarly flu, and I couldn't decide which one was worse.
Oh, so I think cedar fever is far worse.
Fair.
Because I feel the cottonwood trees in Washington, I could take a Claritin and I'm fine.
Fair. Yep.
Here, I wasn't able to leave our bed for 2 days.
Yeah. It was
I had to go to a work event and I was I think I'm gonna die.
Yep.
And then I got home and the next day, I was incapacitated.
And I was crazy because I was why am I not getting sick? Because I'm immunocompromised. And so I'm what is happening that I'm not getting sick? But you're on the up and up, which is why we're recording today. Where I'm not just subjecting, I don't care if you're so sick, come record with me. So
no. I consented to this.
Yes.
I was I could do this.
This was consensual.
Yes.
Feel me.
I'm on so many decongestants. So that's where we're at today.
Okay, so while you're super snotty and really hot right now,
let's talk about flirting.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. So the reason why we split up our dating series into a series instead of just like one episode is there's so much to it.
And so many different perspectives. Like,
exactly.
There's not just one way to go about things. So a lot of this is going to be us talking about like what has worked for us and what we have noticed, but also feel free like on our social media and everything, like comment things that have worked for you. And if like there's new tactics that we're not bringing up, share them.
Literally, honestly, because everybody's unique, right? Everybody likes being flirted with differently.
Yeah.
We're just going to give you like a general slate that we think will work for mostly everybody. But yeah, if there are ways that you like being flirted with or you think is creepy and is a red flag, literally put it in the comments on Spotify, put it in the comments on YouTube. Don't forget to follow us on YouTube and Spotify while you're there.
Our Instagram is still alive.
Our Instagram is still alive for now.
Yeah, show us some love on there.
Some love on there. But yeah, honestly, this is all about like sharing information and helping us all like figure out how to navigate this wild world of dating as a sapphic person.
Absolutely. So we're just giving you the foundation, and then after that, you get to color within the lines to see like what you like and how it like manifests for you.
Yep. All right, what's our first topic?
Okay, our first topic is quite literally how to do it.
How to do it.
How do you see somebody, you're like, oh, I like them, I want to go flirt with them. How?
Okay, so we're starting with in person. So
yes.
Let me set the scenario. You are at, should we do a bar or a coffee shop?
Let's do a coffee shop. That's cute.
Okay, that is very cute. So you're at a coffee shop. There's some jazz playing over the radio.
You're at Genuine Joe's in Austin.
You're at Genuine Joe's in Austin.
You're surrounded by toy dinosaurs.
It's a crazy awesome.
It's a really cute coffee shop.
Yes. The smell of coffee is in the air, and you see a very attractive person, name their whatever gender, whatever you want. They're across the way. How do you approach them?
You cry and you run away. No, I'm kidding.
Hightail it out.
How do you do
no
it?
Hope.
Yeah.
No, genuinely, because when I first came out of the closet, I was so nervous. When I thought I was straight, I would go up to men and I kid you not, this is probably isn't a flex, so don't judge me, but I would like go up to my friends who were too nervous to go talk to like a guy across like at the bar or something, and I'd be like, it's so easy, watch me do it. I'm gonna go get 5 guys' numbers right now. And I did it. And I literally left with 5 guys' numbers that day. I remember it was in Santa Barbara. It was just so easy for me to flirt with men. And then when I started, cis men I should say, but when I started like coming out and flirting with girls and non-binary people and stuff like that, I was like so nervous. I think it was because I actually liked them. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I wasn't completely apathetic if they turned me down, because I didn't care if guys turned me down. I'd be like, great, where's the next one?
Yeah.
But women and like non-binary people like you and like the trans men that I was flirting with and stuff, and trans women, I was just like, I'm so nervous. I was so nervous. You know what I mean?
I had a conversation years ago with somebody who was talking about that because they're bisexual, and they're like, I have no issue flirting with men. They're like, but whenever I flirt with like AFAB people, they were saying that it's so nerve-wracking for them because they feel that the rejection would devastate them.
Yeah.
And they told me that they're like, I don't think a person assigned male at birth could break my heart. They're like, but I think an AFAB person, if I were to let myself fall in love with them, they could destroy my heart.
Yes.
And I was like, wow, like the stakes are, they feel really, really high.
They are really high. And that's why when people are like, I wish I was a lesbian, it would just be so much easier. It's not. Like, the heartbreaks are like through the roof, through the sky. We're going past the ozone layer.
Well, I oftentimes feel like hearing that phrase, I wish I was a lesbian, to be so much easier. I'm like, okay, I think that's actually a really good flag that you need to do some introspection. Like, what is happening in your own dating life that you think that this one would be easier? I mean, aside from like how media kind of like romanticizes everything and turns it into something else. Like, we'll talk about that maybe in another episode. But that, to me, I'm like, oh, when I hear that, I go, time to look inward. Yeah. You know, maybe you are queer.
Maybe you need to find different kinds of relationships.
Yes, absolutely. And you know, there's lots of ways to help you with that. But
yes.
Yeah. So, okay, flirting with girls is a lot. It's a lot scarier.
It is. Okay, so back to our coffee shop.
Yeah.
When we were preparing for this episode, we wrote out a list of things that we would like and things that we wouldn't like. We're going to do red flags and green flags at the end of the episode, I believe. But
Or if the wind takes us, we'll pepper him in the
or
mouth.
if we
Who
want to do it.
knows? Anything goes on Simply Sapphic.
Anything goes. Yes. Also, this is the first episode that we recorded after we rebranded, so that's very exciting. So that was another reason why we didn't have to switch rooms. We could have just taken the sign down, but there's no longer a sign behind me now, which is
So you may have noticed in the intro, there's no more, please ignore the sign.
Yes, this is true. This is true. So no more of that. Okay, we're going up on tangents
Genuine
already.
Joe's.
Genuine Joe's. We're at
Or
a coffee shop.
wherever you want to go.
I think regardless of where you are, the first thing you want to do is kind of like get a feel for if the person looks like they'd be okay being interrupted.
Yes.
I personally have been picked up in a coffee shop, and I kind of liked it. So I was on my laptop and somebody came up to me, and we had made eye contact a couple times, and something happened in the shop where like a lot of people in the row that we were sitting in kind of laughed at it, and like we had made eye contact. And so I think because we had that in, when the person came up to me and asked for my number, I was already in a place where I was like, sure, I don't know if you're my type, but like we already have something in common in that we laughed at the same thing. And I did end up going on a date with them, and it didn't work out. But I think the first thing, I mean, obviously,
Spoiler.
then they're coming in to replace.
Surprise! It was me. I was in the coffee shop.
Surprise! They're coming in right now.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. No. But like, I think establishing some kind of commonality before you go and talk to them is great. Whether that's like making eye contact and seeing if they smile back or make eye contact with you. If you're waiting in line at the coffee shop, even just engaging them on something that's not flirting. So like, hey, what's good here? I've never been here. Or like, even if you have been there, just being like, I'm looking to try something new. I always get this. What would you get? And just engaging them in conversation that's not flirty, just to get a feel for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, you know, if you're like, hey, what's new here? And they completely ignore you, that's probably a good sign that they're not open to it. I've also been told, like, if you see the big headphones on, that's a do not disturb.
Yes.
You know, headphones in. I'm a little different. But see, this is hard to gauge. Generally, if my headphones are on, don't engage. But I have been hit on in a coffee shop with my headphones in. Like, I was, like, fully interrupted, and I was thrilled. So.
Okay, tell me about that. How did they do it?
It was quite literally, I was just typing away, and then they came over, they, like, literally walked right by me, and they were like, hi, I think you're super cute. Can I get your number?
We love the audacity. Truly, honestly,
Yes.
people are so afraid of going in and just coming in hot, but I find that incredibly attractive.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, one of the things that I always tell Allison is like, I'm incredibly attracted to confidence. I'm incredibly attracted when you just say fuck it and do it. You know what I mean? And so that is one way to go about it. But I think if I was given a fork in the road where I can be like that, like have the audacity and just say like, hey, you're really cute, I would love your number, versus engaging them and feeling out if they're okay being approached with a kind of chill question to begin with, I would always choose the chill question to begin with.
So would I.
In a non-bar setting. Yeah. I think if I had some alcohol in me, we were dancing, there was some eye contact, I would totally do it. But in like a coffee shop or a rock gym or, you know, like somewhere more casual where it's not really like a flirting station, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
or
would
people are in an environment where the headspace is not geared maybe towards new social interactions.
Exactly.
Like sometimes a coffee shop that's maybe not the vibe. A rock gym, that's maybe not the vibe. A bar, I feel like the expectation is to kind of go in and you're probably going to meet some new people. Yeah. So yeah, I think opening up a soft conversation is like really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And then if they're engaging with you, you know, then I think you can kind of open up the conversation to start flirting.
Oh, okay. And then it's like, what are those next steps?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a huge advocate for eye contact.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's not like, you know, you know, like don't death glare them like straight down. But it like eye contact is really good. And also like where your eyes are going is also incredibly important when you're engaging in conversation. I think it's really hot when somebody like looks at the eyes, looks at the lips, look at the eyes, like later on within flirting.
Don't do it right after you ask them what
Don't
coffee.
do it right after. Yeah. Amanda also has said when we were brainstorming in like all capital letters, do not bite your lip.
Oh my God, don't bite your lip. It's the creepiest thing. I was at a lesbian bar one time, and this like super attractive person starts dancing up on me, like not like coming up behind me, but like, you know, like making eye contact, dancing, like trying to engage. And then I was like kind of into it until they bit their freaking lips.
Okay,
They were like, and looked me up and down, and I was like, now I'm grossed out. I don't like that. I don't like it. Some people might like it.
Yeah.
I think if you did that to me because we have rapport, it wouldn't gross me out as much. But a new person,
you would roast me. You would roast me alive. If I started biting my lip at you, there is no way on this earth. I can barely, okay, I like winking. I think winking is really fun. Not like a creepy winking, but I love, like, it's me signaling that, like, we have an inside joke. I'm watching, like, hi, it's you and me. And almost like 9 out of 10 times that I wink at Amanda, Amanda's like, ew.
well, okay, because we'll be talking, and Allison will just like, we'll like drop a line and then like wink at me, and I'm obviously not good at winking, but like they'll just wink, and then I go, did you just wink at me? And that's literally every single time they wink at me. But it's like
a wink is like a little kiss from a distance. It's like, hey baby.
Okay, that's hilarious. Okay, I'm warming up to it, because sometimes you'll wink and I'm like, yeah. I'm still warming up to it, because like I think I've just gotten in my head that like anytime somebody winks, you know what it is? I'm traumatized from every time there's a thirst trap on TikTok.
I was just about to say,
every time.
Anytime we're scrolling together and a thirst trap pops up, Amanda will not mention about 90% of the thirst trap, but will always point out the wink.
Because I'm counting down to it. I'm watching the thirst trap and I'm like, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, wink. Called it. Every freaking time. We need a new way to move our eyeballs to flirt. I think we need to figure it out. But if you're into that, I'm not saying never wink. I'm never saying never bite your lip, because it works when it works. You know? Like, some music videos, people are biting their lip and I'm like, oh, that's kind of hot. But it needs to be done tastefully, and I don't have the right answer as to how to tastefully bite your lip.
And it also just might be something that if that's part of your flirting style, you're going to be able to find out who's into that.
True.
You know? So if you're like, oh, but I love winking or I love biting my lip, that's not something that we're saying you need to cut out. You will find somebody who likes that.
Which is now, Allison is now filing divorce papers to go find someone who likes winking.
I'm gonna go find somebody who likes winking.
Okay, so you go up, you're talking to the person, you ask what coffee, they're engaged. You mentioned eye contact. Eye contact I think is really important, and I wouldn't say like stare them down, and I wouldn't start doing the eye to lip to eye thing yet.
Oh yeah, I would hold off on the eye to lip to eye. That needs to be later, but
that needs to be quite a bit later. That's like right before you're about to kiss. That's like a question to me, can I kiss you? But I think another way to start transitioning into flirting that I heard pretty early on when I came out was, instead of, as like an AFAB cisgendered woman who has existed in women's bathrooms her entire life, there's this like, oh my god, I love your shirt, oh my god, I love your hair, oh my god, you're so beautiful, and those are also things that are compliments that we want to give to the people that we're flirting with. So how do you translate them from girly in the bathroom to girly, I want to kiss you?
Yeah
From
girly in the bathroom to girly, I want to kiss you. Yeah, turning it from something that's platonic to something that is romantic.
Yes. Yeah. And so what I had heard was, instead of saying, oh my god, I love your shirt, you focus the attention and the compliment on the person rather than the item. So instead of, like, I like your shirt, you say, you look really great in that shirt.
Yeah, because that puts a focus on, I literally just got butterflies right now. Like, yeah, because it puts that focus on, it goes, oh, it's this is about me right now, and then something I'm in, so now I'm seen, rather than I need to give you the link to where I bought, I think, this Costco sweater.
Yes. Yeah, I think that would give me a pause if somebody came up to me in the bathroom and it's like, you look really great in that shirt. I wouldn't immediately go, thanks, I got it from Target. I would go, oh. And then you know, I think that would give me a pause enough to be like, is this person flirting with me? Yeah. And then what would you do after that?
If I'm receiving that, so if somebody's like, hey, you look really good in that shirt, I'm immediately going to find something to also do the same thing back.
Oh.
So if they're like, oh, hey, I really like you in that shirt, I'm going to say, and I think you have really beautiful eyes.
Ooh, that's beautiful. That's great.
Right? And then everyone is giddy.
See, now I have butterflies.
Right? Yeah. And then if you want to, you can say like, hi, like, and I think you have really beautiful eyes. Would you like to come sit with me?
I think if you said that to me, I don't think I would go.
You wouldn't?
No, I don't think so. Because I would be like, it would go from, ooh, I'm flattered, to, wait, why are you trying to rob me? I don't know. I think it's my anxiety. Because I would be like, I had a plan to come in here and work. But
I'm saying though, if you're the one who received the first compliment and you're open to being like hit on and like meeting somebody new. So if you approached me, hi, I like your shirt. I go, hi, I like your eyes. I'm really open to wanting you to flirt with me. I might invite you to sit with me, or at least I'm going to tell you my name.
yeah, I think I would go name.
Yeah.
And then maybe, because I don't know, maybe I'm just in my head, because when I go to a coffee shop, I'm there to like work on my book or like, you know, work on something. I don't typically bring a book to a coffee shop, which is what I kind of want to do after this, if you're down.
Yeah.
Don't mind me, or just flirting with my girlfriend, like inviting them to a coffee shop after.
And you have really pretty eyes.
Oh my God, stop.
Would you like to sit with me?
I mean, I am. But yeah, I think it's like it's like you give them your name. And then I think at this point, yeah, I think it's pretty fair game to be like, I would love to give you my number.
Absolutely.
And I think the I give you my number is important than can I have your number, because it again asks a question and asks for consent, right? You're not saying give me your number, because then people will freeze and they'll be like, oh, I don't know what to do.
Well, and it doesn't give them time to decide if this is something that they want, because when you give your number, they get to decide how long they want to wait if they ever want to text you.
Yes.
But when you are given their number, like when you're like, give me your number, suddenly they're like, oh God, I don't know if I actually wanted to do that. Like now they have no agency over that, you know?
Yeah. And so like every step of this is asking for consent, right? And so when you give them their number, it feels safer. Sorry, when you give them your number, it feels safer. And then if they text you back, then they text you back, and that's amazing. And then you can go into probably what we'll talk about in a different episode,
yes.
which is the actual dating. But like getting their number, or they don't. And I think one thing that we didn't say before we started any of this is, do not approach somebody if you think you're going to throw up if they say no. Do not approach somebody if you are not okay with being rejected, because that is kind of the crux of this whole thing, is you might get rejected and you have to be okay with it.
So yes, if you're not in the headspace to get told no, or if you know that that's something that you need to have, like you need to work on, hold off for sure.
Because then it's just going to ruin your day. Like you went hoping to find a cool, cute person, you know, in this, whoever you just approached, and they say, no, I already have a partner, or no, I'm actually not interested in your gender. You know what I mean?
Or just, I'm not interested.
Period.
Yes.
And I think that's a big fear for a lot of queer sapphic people, is that they approach someone and the person goes, ew, I'm straight. You know what I mean? That was something that I was really afraid of, is somebody being like really grossed out that I was hitting on them, because I was dealing with a lot of compulsory heterosexuality telling me that I was a predator.
Yeah.
Because I was queer.
That's why I felt way more comfortable flirting online, because I already knew, right? When you're on queer dating apps, it says very explicitly. And so then I was like, great. And then I got really confident. But flirting in person was much harder, especially because like I tend to dress more androgynously. And so it was really, many times it was really scary to be like, if I didn't have very clear signs that you were queer, more likely than not, I would either really tiptoe into that, like dip my pinky toe into the water, or I wouldn't.
If you are a femme or a straight passing person, it is your job to go up and talk to people. I feel it is my personal opinion, as someone, before I got this haircut, I was very straight passing because I didn't really change my look after I came out. And so when I walked into a room, I was like sitting there expecting like the more masculine presenting people to come up to me, because that's what I was used to. I was used to like the cisgendered straight men in my life approaching me, and then I wait, and then I say yes or no, right? But it's so nerve-wracking. I imagine, and I have heard from you and from other people who are more masc and androgynous presenting, that it is exhausting and it is terrifying to go up to people, because you don't know if they're queer or not. If you're gonna be like, you have three options: ew, I am super homophobic and now I might potentially make you feel threatened, no or yes. You know what I mean? And so I think it is my personal opinion, as a femme presenting person that it is our job to go up and approach the masc or androgynous presenting people.
As you're starting to like explore dating and as you're going out and flirting with people, it's important to not apply your gender roles.
Yes.
So I oftentimes like I'll look at Amanda because like I'll get handed the checks and it's like, oh, because I'm the boy one, but I'm not. You know, like I'm not a boy. You know, that gender role, that gender assignment, like that doesn't apply here. And so a lot of your like masc or androgynous like people, they want to be flirted with. They also want to be approached. They want to be called cute. They want that stuff as well. And we can't apply the same kind of social rules that you would apply to a cis male onto those people. Because as we talked about in other episodes, like queerness, like we make our own rules in here. And so, I mean, yeah, I love getting approached because it was really scary to approach other people in person, especially if I knew it wasn't like a queer space. Like if it was a random coffee shop where it could be anybody, 9 times out of 10, I absolutely would not do it.
Yeah. And I think it's because I can spot you from a mile away as a queer straight passing person, but you can't spot me. And so I think that we need to, like, as femme people, we need to be the one to initiate, because we can't just sit around and hope that they see us, because they won't. You know, they might not. Or if they do, they'd be too afraid, because what if we aren't queer? You know what I mean? And so I think we need to have the audacity.
I love having the audacity. I mean, one of my favorite moments, this was years ago now, but I was in a bar that was not a gay bar. And I was with some friends and I'd seen somebody across. We kind of had looked at each other, but I was like, I don't know if this person is queer. Like, and so I was like, all right, I think they're cute, but I'm going to drop it. And this person, while walking by me, gently touched my forearm and was like, kind of gave it a small squeeze and was like, I love your fashion. And just kind of looked at me and then kept walking. And I was like, heard. I was like, caught it. You got it. And then later that night, I gave her my number and we went on like a few dates.
Okay, I love that though, because you followed through. You gave her your number and then you went on a couple of dates. And I think also something that we didn't talk about was like the follow through.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because I was at a lesbian bar in Austin. Shout out, Cheer Up Charlie's. And I was waiting in line for the bathroom and I was next to this really, really attractive person. And we were flirting like super hard. And then they went in first and then they went out. And then I went to the bathroom, then I came out, and then they weren't there. And then I panicked because I saw them from across the dance floor and they were looking at me and they were like, let's dance. And I panicked so hard that I froze and I literally left the bar.
Oh,
it was embarrassing, right? I love you. I'm happy with like how that ended up, and I didn't need to like date them, but that is like a regret of mine because I was too much of a chicken to follow through. Oh yeah. And I do, like, I'm like, I don't think about them, but I think about the situation so much that I'm like, Amanda, like, why are you such a chicken? Like, you should have just gone through with it, right? And so I think it's just a matter of like tricking yourself into being more confident than you are in the moment.
Yeah, it's like having that audacity. Mm-hmm. No, I get it. There was somebody who I'm pretty sure we went on like 2 dates, but it was so gray area. Like neither of us had the audacity to be like, this is a date. I think you are attractive, right? And so I still think about that situation, and I'm like, you can feel it like in your body, like your soul can feel it.
Yes.
Right. And so yeah, I think just like give yourself permission to have the audacity, and it's okay to like start small. And like, again, if you just go get your bestie, go get your friend and be like, this is what I did. This is what I did when I was like 23. I set a goal that year. I said, I'm going to give somebody my phone number.
I love this.
And I'm going to be the one to give. And that was when that person came up and squeezed my arm. And I was like, I'm going to go do it.
I love it.
I'm going to go have the audacity.
Yep.
So if you need to practice in that way, even if it goes nowhere, but like literally just go try.
How can you tell if someone is queer from a distance? So you're sitting at the coffee shop, somebody's working on their computer, you've been making eye contact, but you don't know if they're queer or not. First thing I do is I look for like queer signals, which is look at the stickers on their laptop. Do they have any rainbows? Do they have any like sapphic, trans, not, non-binary flags, whatever? Like look for like keychains, look for earrings, look for literally like there's this really cool, I forget the name of them, but there's this it's this jewelry store that sells understated, just like minimalistic queer rainbow and jewelry basically for femmes. And so like look at the jewelry, look at the rings. So they have a ton of rings. Look at how they dress. Are they more androgynous? Look at like their haircut.
Yeah. Well, I'll look at all that stuff and then also listen. If you're in a space where they're talking, that's how that person in that bar that was like, I really like your style, your fashion. That's because at that time, that was like, you know, like how people used to say like, do you listen to Girl in Red? And that was like the signal. At that time, that was the signal. And so I knew that.
Wait, the signal was
like it was all over social media and you knew you were a queer person by going up and be like, hey, I really like your style.
Oh.
And so I had remembered that. And so they were using that as basically like code.
Smart.
You know, like, are you a friend of Dorothy's?
Yeah.
Like, it's a code. Do you listen to Girl in Red? I don't know what today's would be.
Now I really want to know.
Yeah, post it in any of our comments.
If you knew.
What phrase you would use today to signal that you were queer. But also listen to how they're talking with their friends, because I've been out and like I've heard people like literally out loud be like, oh, I'm just so gay, I can't even handle it, to let other people know,
which is so smart,
that they're queer.
Yes.
Like that's, and I was like, it's brilliant. So listen as well if they're in a space where they're talking.
Yeah, and if they're talking to people, look at any kind of queer signals on those people, because we flock together, queer people, right?
Yes.
So if they're hanging out with other queer people, there's probably like a 70% chance that they're also queer, right?
And if they're not, they're also probably with a group of people, and they're also probably incredibly, like, they're probably really great allies, so they're probably going to be a safer rejection.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
If that happens.
I think another thing is just on the line of audacity is just going up and just being like, I just wanted to let you know that I find you really attractive. Totally okay if you don't want to like give me your number or whatever, but just take it as a compliment. I find you really attractive, and then see what happens. And because then it's like you're not coming on to them, you're giving them a genuine compliment. And if that turns into flirting and them being interested, you know what I mean, then I think that's another way to open.
Yeah. And I also, like, if that happens to you, you're getting flirted with.
Yes.
Like, I know sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between a compliment and flirting, and a lot of it is going to come with like, one, you got to feel out that energy. So if somebody's complimenting you, but they're really making some eye contact and maybe they're closing space between you and them, that's going to be flirting. If anybody makes any sort of consensual physical contact, they might touch your hand, touch your elbow, that you're being flirted with.
Okay, sorry to cut you off, but as somebody who's very touchy, I often touch people's shoulders and touch people's elbows, and it has gotten me into trouble where people are like, you're flirting with me, I know you have a crush on me. And I was like, oh, no, I'm just a really touchy person. So don't interpret touching as always an in, right? But because someone is touching you, I don't touch people who I don't like. And so it means that there is some sort of like affection there. And so I'll touch my friends because I am affectionate towards them, right? I'm not going to touch a stranger that I'm not interested in.
Yeah. So it might be more of like the door is opening potentially. Just more things for you to continue like sussing out essentially.
I think it's going to be a combination of things. Eye contact, touching, smiling.
Playing with your hair.
Oh my God. Yeah. Like if they're adjusting their outfit, they're like, oh my God, I'm trying to like tuck my hair back to make sure my hair looks good, or like adjust my, if you're in like a formal setting, like adjust my like suit, or, you know, like adjust my clothes to make sure I kind of look good. That's also a sign that they're kind of nervous.
Yeah. I also say like, see how much attention they're giving you. When I'm flirting with somebody, I'm giving them a lot of my attention. So my energy gets really focused on that person, and I'm going to start making inside jokes with them. I'm really going to be talking with you. Like, I'm pretty sure by the end of our first date, we had like a million jokes.
Okay. But Allison was like smooth as hell on our first date. Like, honestly, Allison, so we went to this bar called Meanwhile Brewing, and there was a band that was playing slow music, and in the middle of our first date, Allison gets up in the middle of our conversation and goes like, dance with me.
Okay. To lead this in, it seems smooth. I was about to have a heart attack. My heart was like, but the band started playing, and Amanda, you had made a comment. You're like, this is like slow dance music. And I was like, window.
Yes.
And so then I was like, be brave. And I had the audacity.
Yes.
And I got up and I was like, dance with me.
And that, along with the fact that our first date went incredibly well, but like that show of confidence, I was like, hot. Yeah. This is amazing. I love it. And so like look for windows to like be smooth, right? Like look for windows to initiate like kind of being romantic. Also know that it is okay to feel like your heart is going to beat out of your chest, because it is anxiety.
There's adrenaline. There's so much adrenaline.
There's so much adrenaline. And I think that's what stops me a lot of the time whenever, I mean, I left the bar, so I think it stops me whenever I think about flirting with somebody, like having the audacity, is I just get so nervous. But I think like a lot of my mantra is when I'm not sure about something, I say, what is your body telling you? What is your body telling you? If you're uncomfortable, it's a no. And I think flirting with somebody for the first time is the one time that I would say, if your body's uncomfortable, it's okay. Yeah. That's normal.
I'm one who, if I get too into my head, I'm done. Mm-hmm. So like, for example, for our first date, I had to really work on like, I just had to go with my instinct. I was like, right now is the time that I cannot get into my head. And so I was about to overthink doing that. And then I was like, get up.
Yeah. And it paid off.
Yeah. So just like listen to your instincts too. If your instincts are like, oh my goodness, I should ask them to dance. Follow it, you know? And the worst you're going to get told is no, and you're going to be okay. You can get ice cream with friends later to recover. Like, it'll be okay.
Yes. Yes. How to do this well and respectfully is consent, first of all. Like, engage the person, see if they're going to be okay being approached. And then be okay with being rejected. So if you're rejected, brush it off. If you're not okay with being rejected, but you want to try anyway, get yourself a treat after and reward yourself for practicing having the audacity.
But you can never take out that rejection on the person that you tried flirting with ever.
Ever.
That's when it crosses that line into just something else. So yeah, if you know yourself that you have a really hard time with rejection, maybe think of a buddy system. Or just know that like if you get told a no, you can go right into your car. Like, but it can never be taken out on the person that you're flirting with, because that's just inappropriate.
It's inappropriate, and it's rude, and it's a reflection on the person doing the taking out. Then because if you go
on the person doing the flirting,
yes,
who has a bad reaction to the rejection, that's a reflection on you.
And and an example of that is like somebody approaching you, and then you reject them, and then they go, "Well, I thought you were ugly anyway."
Not appropriate.
Not appropriate. Absolutely toxic and gross, in my opinion. And so just like if you tend to lash out on that, I would say just stick to online flirting.
I would actually say don't go out dating yet.
Yeah.
I would say go do some introspection until you feel good about that, because being with people means that many times in life we're going to get different kinds of rejection. Maybe one day you do a bid for affection from your partner, but your partner's sick and cannot receive that. That's going to feel like a rejection. So if you aren't in a place where that's something that you can handle with kindness and grace, then my suggestion is hold off on dating for now.
Shout out to all the therapists everywhere.
Shout out to all the therapists everywhere.
And find one.
Yeah, truly.
Yeah. I think I was saying maybe try online dating, because there's a built-in consent. When you match with somebody on like Hinge or something, there's that built-in, I'm interested in you talking with me. So there's less of a chance for you to get rejected. But I agree with you 1,000%. I would reconsider where you're at. And I think a lot of people who are listening to this podcast, shout out to you guys. I think a lot of y'all are like, great. And I don't think you would do this, but just know that if you are flirted with somebody and then they take it out on you, just know that it's because they need therapy. Yeah. And it's not a reflection of you, and you just disengage and go on with your life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you're the person, let's say like you tried flirting, you got rejected, really great. They say, no, thank you. You just go, no problem. Have a nice day. Leave. Yeah. That's great. Have a nice day. Gone. No problem.
And I've been rejected. Obviously everybody has, but like I've been rejected before, and I'm most proud of the times that I go, okay, amazing. Then in that case, just take it as a compliment, because you're like, you look really great today. You know what I mean?
Super.
And then you disengage, and then you leave. Because when I've been hit on, they're like, oh, sorry, I have a girlfriend, and I'm like, amazing. Well, you just look really great. I hope you have an amazing day.
and then you can go process that on your own however you need to.
Yeah, and I think the best way to process it is just be proud of yourself because you did something hard.
Yes.
You did something hard. You approached somebody.
Especially on a day and age when we are so online.
Mm-hmm.
So it feels like it's getting harder and harder for people to approach in person.
Mm-hmm.
So like, yeah, like awesome job. Like literally it's tiny goals. Go in your car, pat yourself on the back, go get a cupcake. Like,
yes,
well,
exactly.
like well done. And don't give up. You know, the amount of no's does not mean that your self-worth is lowering ever. You know, it just means you haven't found the right person yet. Keep trying.
Yeah. Yes.
Should we go into red flags, green flags?
Yes, I think so.
Yes.
Yes.
Yay.
Yay. Okay. Should we start with red flags or green flags?
Let's start with red.
Okay. Red flags, both I think from the perspective of you're going up and you're flirting with someone, what are the red flags that you should look out for that will kind of key into like you should back off, like this isn't someone you want to be flirting with?
I always look for somebody who isn't asking me questions or listening to me.
Yes.
So if I'm feeling bulldozed, that's somebody who I'm going to say no thank you.
Yeah, if as in like they're talking over you.
Talking over me, not trying to also feel like, if I don't feel like they're also trying to get to know me, like if I feel like I'm being spoken at, not spoken with, then I'm going to probably say goodbye.
Yeah, and then even the opposite is if like you're trying to talk with somebody and they keep looking over your shoulder, they're looking down at their phone, they're not paying attention to you at all.
Yeah, like if they don't seem engaged with you, that's also a good sign.
Mm-hmm.
I would
to back off.
I would say no thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, apathy while flirting is not something I would recommend pursuing. So if they do not seem interested in you as a person or in the situation, you can go find yourself somebody who is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Another one is, are they reciprocating the like consent, the conversation of consent with you? So if you go up and you go, you know, I don't know, like if you go up and you say, hey, I really like you look great in that shirt.
And they answer with, yep.
Or they say, thanks, you want to see it off of me or something, and that makes you incredibly uncomfortable because they just jumped from level 0 to level 50, then back off. You know, if you're into that, green flag, good for you. You know what I mean? But if they say anything that makes you uncomfortable, don't think that it's just that moment. There are things that people say when they're uncomfortable that I think, because it's a new, like people are going to be like nervously speaking, and you know, like I wouldn't say this would be like somebody's best, like they're not giving a TED talk while they're attempting to flirt with you. But if they say anything that makes you uncomfortable, where your body goes, whoa, you need to back off.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen to the alarm bells in your body. Yeah, that's a really good one. I would also say, like, if obviously in any sort of defiance of boundaries.
Yes.
You know, if suddenly they're becoming really grabby and you've said no, go, that's a good one to like, no thank you. If you've said no to anything and that no gets ignored, that's a person who I would say back away from. Yeah.
Yep. I think there is a fine line between audacity and toxicity.
Yeah.
Because if somebody keeps giving you like signals of no, they're not interested, which is maybe like fidgeting with their hands, looking away from you,
sitting far away from
you, you know, these are things that would kind of signal they're uncomfortable around you. And it's okay for people to be uncomfortable around you because they might not be in a good headspace. Something might have happened outside of it, you know, they might be genuinely just not interested, and that's not a reflection of you. It's just, you know, you tried and it didn't work.
Yeah.
So back off. And
it's also okay, like if you're noticing that somebody's body language is maybe giving disconnected, if you're brave and you want to say, hey, I just want to check in, like, are you interested in me?
Yeah.
And then they can be like, oh yes, I'm so sorry, I just had a hard day, or however they want to explain it to you, and they'll let you know.
Yeah. So just like, I think it's just consent, you know, have the audacity to make the first move, but if they say no, don't push. I think there is a lot of gamification when people reject people in like every culture, which is, oh, you're just playing hard to get. And I think playing hard to get, if you think it's fun for you to play hard to get, you need to first say, I don't know, there needs to be some rapport that signals it's okay for people to keep trying.
Yeah.
Right? But if you're just meeting the person, if they seem like they're acting hard to get and they reject you, don't push.
Yeah.
Because you do not want to be that person that makes people uncomfortable and makes people, you don't want to be toxic.
Yeah, take people for their word.
Yep.
A no is a no right from the beginning.
Yep.
You know, until they tell you otherwise. So if they're playing hard to get and they give you a no, all right, take that no until they give you a yes.
Yep.
Yes, I totally agree with that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, green flags though. So green flags could be the opposite of that, which is they're smiling, they're laughing, they're engaged with you.
They're making eye contact.
They're making eye contact. I think the difference between, if you're watching on YouTube, the difference between like playing with their hair. So if they're just like, you know, like they're making eye contact with you, they're smiling and they're like fixing their stuff, versus like playing with their clothes, you know, tugging, kind of like looking away from you, like looking for an exit, like not paying attention. If you ask them a question and then they like suddenly look back and go, I don't know, you know. So just like giving, I just wanted to give like a visual for interested in fidgeting versus not interested in fidgeting, because I know there's a lot of people who are like, social cues, what are these things to look for? But yeah, green flag is they're looking at you, they're playing with their hair. I'm not joking you, I do this. I twist, when I had longer hair, I would twist it it was kind of like girly girl of me, but I was pretty interested if I was like playing with my hair. You know, once like in a super flirty situation, I probably wouldn't do this in a coffee shop, but like if you're at a bar and you're dancing with someone and you're looking up and then down at their lips and then up at, you know, I think it's so hot when people do that, especially when I'm feeling like I'm feeling connected with them and they do that. It's like the most, I think it's the sexiest form of consent, which is, can I kiss you, by looking at your eye, looking at your mouth, looking at your eye.
Oh yeah, I love that. I think you see it in movies too. You see it in television.
Yes. Yep.
It's how we ask. Yeah, that's always great. And I really look at body language, and you know, are they pointed towards you? Are they pointed away from you? You know, like if you're sitting and talking, where are their knees facing? Think about where their shoulders are facing. If I'm across from you, I'm probably leaning in when we're talking. I'm going to be making a lot of eye contact. My body language is also going to be a little bit more open. So I'm maybe not like crumpled up unless we're outside and it's freezing. Then I think, you know, you can take that for what it is. But if we're like outside, like everything about me is going to be open. My hands are going to be more open. Watch like really good body language. See how well you feel listened to. And if you both are laughing and you're sharing like moments and compliments, and there's a good chance that this is good flirting.
No, I love that. I mean, pay attention to qualities that you want in somebody too. Like, are they compassionate? Do they seem kind? Do they seem like genuine? Or do they seem like disconnected, apathetic? All the red flags that we listed before. So just thinking about like what you are looking for in a partner, you know, at the base level, first impression level, like, do they seem like a good person?
Yeah. I mean, like there a lot of times, you know, people say, you know, you accept the love you think you deserve. So on these like first introductory meetings, and this will apply as the dating series goes on, but are they treating you from the get-go in a way that makes you feel good?
I love that.
You know? And we'll probably go into a whole episode about love bombing and all of these things, but I think, this feels like a good how to flirt. I would love to do like a little recap. And I think one of the best pieces of advice, again, because we get the whole, it's like, I don't even know how to start. And as just a reminder, is making the compliment about the person is really good. So Amanda suggested the one, which is, you look really good in that shirt. Like making it about that, you know, you have really beautiful eyes, and leading with that, I think is a great way to start that flirting.
Yeah, I love that. And then before you even get into it, make sure that you're in a place where you're okay to be rejected. And so if that means getting yourself a treat beforehand, you know, you're at a coffee shop, go get a like pastry and then eat it and then go up. You know what I mean? Like have the audacity to go up and approach, but also have the audacity to be okay being rejected, and being confident and firm in who you are, so that if somebody says no to you, it's not a reflection of you. You don't take it personally, and you can go about your day and be respectful to them.
Yeah. Yay. Okay. I feel like that's good for flirting.
Yeah.
And then if anybody has any other things, again, throw it in our social media.
Please do.
On our Instagram, Spotify, YouTube. This is like community sharing. If you're like, oh, I have a great technique, put it in there.
I want to know a general consensus. Do people like winking or not? I think I might make that a poll. Should we change the topic?
Let's change the topic.
Into our Sapphic fun fact of the week.
Sapphic fun facts.
Allison's gonna record a jingle for us.
We kind of like sing-songy it almost every time.
It's true.
Okay, you do yours first because I'm pulling mine up.
Okay, so when I was first finding the Sapphic fun fact this week, I've pulled up a stat that said that over 1 million children live in homes with like people in the LGBTQ community. But then I was like, 1 million, that's crazy. And then I found like a bunch of different stats that contradicted it. And so this one says 292,000 children had parents living in a same-sex partner with a same-sex partner or spouse. Then it said like 15% of the 1.1 million same-sex couples in the US had at least one child under 18 in their household. So there's a bunch of different stats, but I think what it all boils down to, and the point of the Sapphic fun fact, is that the number of children growing up in same-sex households is growing. And it's really cool to see that because it means that like the next generation of people, they're going to grow up seeing their friends with same-sex couples or different kinds of gendered couples, and it's going to become more normalized. And so I don't know, it just gives me more hope for the future of our society, of our culture, that while things are really scary right now with the election, with everything that's happening in our culture right now, but the future I think can and will be bright.
And okay, well then, speaking of things like that, we're going to talk a little bit about politics for a quick second. In 2012, Senator Tammy Baldwin beat out former Wisconsin Governor Tommy Thompson. I just think that's the funniest name. To become the first openly gay member elected to the Senate.
I think the point of this episode is have the audacity.
Yeah.
Flirt with the people that you want to flirt with. Have the audacity to take care of yourself.
Have the audacity to live a great fucking life.
Yes, that was more wholesome than what I was about to go say. I was going to say, like, have the audacity to go find a cute person to flirt with, but have the audacity to, have a great life, and know that we're always in your corner.
Bye, y'all. We'll see you next time.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in.
Be sure to subscribe, follow us on social media,
and share episodes with your friends.
See you next time.